Hello everyone and welcome into today's video. I know what you're thinking. Is Jason finally going to do the comparison amongst different gemstones of a similar color? And the answer is no, I'm not. This was set out on my desk because for two reasons. I think there's 11 presentations in April. And so I'm going to be incredibly busy this month with presentations on my collection and the history of gems, both for some very smart organizations here that trust me to come in and wow their crowds, share information, educate people, and laugh along the way. My presentations cannot ever be totally serious, as you know, because I like to engage with my audiences. What you're looking at here, and I'm going to point them out in order because, again, these are pieces that I live with that have been in my collections for a very long time. And when I talk about specific pieces in my videos, many have been with me for up to 20 or 30 years at this point, recording these series for all of you. So I do live with these items. And what has happened over time is I've actually been able to identify the gemstones through further inspection once I get them home and doing the deep dive and doing the research over 30 years. So this is not something that's very easy to distill down and talk about RI or talk about specific gravity or talk about the optic qualities of certain gemstones. I'm going to get lost in that information before you know it. And please stay tuned because I have no idea how they got this many amethysts inside of a light bulb. And I don't know how they got this many citrine, blue topaz, aquamarine, and amethyst and peridot in a light bulb. Interesting. Stay tuned. So I also want to talk about a very small amount of jewelry that is off to the right-hand side, and today is kind of that conglomerate video, so thank you for bearing with me. So we'll go this way, then we'll go this way, and these are coming back to another versus video. So I want to do like a aquamarine versus tanzanite, tanzanite versus blue zircon versus aquamarine versus fancy color sapphire. So this one, and I'll just go around and we'll talk about values when I do this because some of these values are through the roof. You might be asking yourself, why would this be important to identify stones out in the field? Because this ring right here as a blue topaz and sterling silver, which it is blue topaz and sterling silver. This one is worth around, maybe around $165 retail price. This one, years ago, was sold as blue topaz and sterling silver, and this is genuine aquamarine and platinum. So this was sold to me, I think it was $80 or $90. It was sold to me just past downtown Cleveland when I was very young. I think I was maybe in my extremely early 20s at this point in my life. You've seen this ring before, but why I brought it back is, being in platinum and aquamarine, it's worth around $6,000 retail in that size, color, clarity, and in a platinum mounting from the 1920s. So what happens with these values is they do elevate and they do escalate very quickly depending on the stones. See how similar those look? We'll do the comparison contrast later, but you can see how similar those look. We're going to do side-by-sides throughout the next video, but I thought I would show these because it is coming and I'm working on content every day of my life. So bear with me on the cleaning and restoration, replacing rhinestones. There are so many videos that have been requested. I personally cannot keep up with the requests, so please be patient with me. I'd appreciate it. This ring has been in this box a long time, and you can see the finger of the wearer on this. This is platinum, diamond, and that is cornflower blue sapphire. And origin on this, we'll talk about it. Is it Sri Lanka? More than likely, yes. But we'll talk about that in a coming video. But again, if this was sold as, let's say, a synthetic or blue topaz or another gemstone, it would be in the vicinity of, if it was that in almost costume in a way, or bridge jewelry, it would be in the vicinity of around 100 and maybe $110, $120, because it is that sapphire with those diamonds and a very large, it's over 5 carats. It could be in the vicinity now of about $20,000. So please pay attention to colored gemstones, and you can see the diversity. Then you look at these two. And I just talked about this one because this had been purchased a long time ago, and it was purchased as blue topaz and sterling silver with rhinestones. And I did put it in a previous video. It is genuine Santa Maria aquamarine, platinum, and diamonds from the late 1920s. Look at those for a comparison. So you could say, well, you just said that both of these are aquamarine. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. This one at, 6,000. This one at between 15 and maybe, 12 to 15,000, because the size of the stone, the color and the clarity of this in a platinum mounting that's that robust. So now you could see two aquamarines in different color side by side. Also, we could talk about color treatment in aquamarine, and we will discuss that in a coming video. This one is thought to be not heat treated. So, I don't have it out on my desk. I have a pendant that's not heat treated as well. Then in the center, so looks like a blue diamond, right? No, that's a blue zircon. And I've said blue zircon before. Please go over to my zircon video and please take a quick peek at that, because we will do a comparison between this and this. You can see a big difference between these two stones, right? And then also let's look at the aquamarine on the right and the blue topaz on the left. That's where it starts to get really tricky, and you're going to need my help and my guidance. And again, mine is a practical guide. Mine is not a scientific guide, and you will never see me cut and paste pictures from online. I will show you from my collections. We have a synthetic on the left, and we have a genuine tanzanite on the right. And amazing platinum and diamond mounting here, sterling silver and CZ here. So you get the gist of where I'm headed. And then we'll do like a comparison of these two side by side. So we do a sapphire on the left and a tanzanite on the right. So we will get into that specifically. Let me take this box out of here. I'm going to pause for 1 sec, get all this resituated as I knock everything over today. And we'll get inside of this box as well, because you're probably wondering, why is there a box inside of the light box today? Wait till I show you what came in. And of course, I can't forget the shoutouts. How did I forget this in the beginning? Please go over and subscribe to my friend Thelma Thrift. We just had an amazing sale together. She is delightful. I'm not going to say anything more, but if you want to be highly entertained by someone who has been on YouTube for a very long time, she's a thrifting icon. That's all I can say. And Thelma is a dear friend. Please go over and subscribe to Thelma Thrift. New and youthful and smart and funny, Carla's Beautiful Things. Please go over on YouTube and subscribe to Carla's Beautiful Things. She's my friend, and guess what? She's the next generation of buyer and seller, investor, collector, reseller. She is hilarious. I love her truthfulness. I feel very close with her because she'll say whatever she wants on her channel, and I totally respect her. So Carla's Beautiful Things, please go over and subscribe. And of course, last but not least, you all love Bully Run Coffee. Thank you for the coffee orders last week. The reason why I sound a little tired in the video, I was out with the trailer, and it was very busy at one of the events, and I'm still recovering, even this many days later. So Bully Run Coffee, please go over and subscribe to Jeremy's channel. That's where we host our sales. We'd really appreciate you coming on over. What was in this box is part of the video as well, and I said this is gonna kind of be a conglomerate. This came in, and we will talk about this because there's much more to it. Unfortunately, I wish it was oriented this way in the video, but because I'm recording horizontal, it needs to be this way. These are gemstones and findings and earring parts and watch parts and bales, Victorian earrings. that were gold. And of course, it's not going to want to focus. There we go. Victorian earrings that were gold. Let's go into some of these little pieces, parts, and components. I have done so many videos so far on my restorations and the parts that I will use to restore pieces. Haven't gotten into the restoration process, and the reason why is this. Like the rings that I just mentioned, I hadn't done the video yet on aquamarine, specifically on aquamarine. I had done the videos on tanzanite. I did the video on blue zircon. Haven't done one on aquamarine just yet, so I want to do that video first before I do the versus video, so then you have the library in chronological order, so you can go back to the one specifically on blue zircon. You can go back to the one specifically on aquamarine for a versus, you know, stones against stones, so you can see the difference, because values are extremely variable in that. It's an amazing world with gemstones. So as I go down here, oops, I almost knocked over the whole box. The whole light box almost went over on me. So if you go into these little parcels, lots of loose earring backs and old Victorian pieces. We will bring this back to another video because I love this divided box. And I know you're eyeing some of the gemstones already and saying, please don't show us and not go for the deep dive. Look, that will keep you coming back. All right, let's wipe this out because that box is extremely dirty. And let's get into this other little section I have, and then we'll get into the light bulbs filled with gemstones, because that's what you're here for. This is going to be discussed in another video, and I had these still out on my desk. When you ask for restorations on rhinestones, I've got you covered. So I showed you these earrings in a previous video, and they are missing one oval rhinestone. So I will show you a very easy way to fix this, and I'll show you the glue that I personally use. There is a lot of fighting, especially on different websites and different forums, about what glue to use, what not to use, what to do this, do that. You know, a lot of lecture series from these, you know, quote experts that, to be honest, I wouldn't take criticism from them, so I'm not going to take advice from them. That's the way I say it. My channel, my voice, my channel, my choice. So, but when I get into the restorations, I'll show you what I've done for over 30 years. I do restorations for museums as well. So you can trust me in the terms of being archival and no lecture series. I will not be corrected. I can promise you that right now. Into this, we can all learn from each other. I just do my restorations differently. This Trifari brooch is exceptional. It's crown Trifari. And I did a restoration on some of these rhinestones already, and I had shown you that I use old stones so that it doesn't look like ones stick out that don't belong. There are many still missing, 1, 2, 3 here, and 2 there. I go in and I take out that old foil, and then I put a little dab of glue in, and sometimes I use 2 different kinds of glue. We'll get into that. Restoration videos are coming. Please be patient. I appreciate it. And then into this. And I think why I've waited so long is because I did want to avoid the fighting. You know, because there's always going to be some person out there who's going to want to lecture someone else about, you're not using the right glue, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. You know what? I'm not going to say anymore. I'm just going to say, I'm going to show you how I do it. And hopefully you can take my lead from that. This is 18 karat gold diamonds and fantastic. Again, I had waited for one of these for a very long time, and there was a lovely YouTuber that said, can you please show us that again? So finally, a dream come true. 18 karat gold, fabulous diamonds, incredible modernist design, fully hallmarked by the maker, still having a heck of a time figuring out who that is and when exactly this was made. Let me open this up and show you the construction. But the labor of love that went through this, and you know, the energy of the artist that produced this, there's the maker's mark right there. So maybe someone out there in YouTube land can beat me to that. It's going to be very difficult to find. One of probably several thousand that only produced, you know, a few things. And wow is all I can say for the construction of soldering this all together. This is not cast, so every little spoke is hand finished and then soldered to that central graceful arcing line. And those diamonds had me. I said, this whole thing just makes perfect sense to me. And I've waited over 20 years to find one, and it came in this amazing fitted box. So let me open this back up and put the baby back in, close that up and get that off camera. Also, someone had said, do you have any black diamond rings? for sale. And I said, I have quite a large one for sale. So this is a black diamond, white diamonds up the shank. There's a black diamond on the side. I'm all about these mountings, by the way. Now, I didn't want just a black diamond ring. I had to have one of the best in the design of the whole thing. And I loved that they put these diamonds on the side. So that side profile is what you then see. Boy, are my hands dirty today. And everyone said, oh, your hands look so nice in the videos. And I'm like, no, they're really beat up. And then I took all the nail polish off and now they're yellow. So let's see here. Look at that. Diamond and 14 karat white gold. And I loved those little diamonds, bezel set on both sides. I know the estate that this came from, and I can make a comment on that, but I'm not going to. Now, went to an auction, boy oh boy, not going to get into when, but I went to an auction and look at what happened. And I'm going to twirl this around to keep the ring light off. So this little compartment kind of goes around in a circle. Look at those for 14 karat gold, old necklace jump rings. Lots of older ones in there. One loose stone there, not sure what it is. Then look at some of these parts and component bins. We're going to get into this. Watch bales and a single Victorian earring. I think I do have the other one in another box. Look at that one. And this was a great day, by the way. I went early and I stayed late. And what? Oh, we forgot the second row, by the way. Look at those 14 karat gold earring clutches. Now, on a catalog that I ordered these on, a pair of these in 14 karat gold was almost $78 for the small version. And look how many I got. Most of these are 14 karat gold. Some are gold filled in there. Then we get into some gold pin stems. Let me turn this way. Look at more gold earring backs. I said, oh my God. But what I'm saying is I went early and I stayed late at this auction. Let me say again to you, if you play the auction game, which sometimes it is a game, this is platinum, by the way. I thought it was sterling silver. That's actually platinum. And it's a lavalier. And that would have contained 3 very large diamonds. Look at that for platinum. Yep. And anyways, I said I went early, I stayed late. And the reason why is this came up pretty late in the sale. Look at this little glass cat. Look at the world's smallest glass cat. I should do a video titled World's Smallest Blue Cat and see how many hits I get. I'm going to do this in a YouTube short. That's what I'll do. I'll put the blue cat in a YouTube short and we'll see how many views we get. Sometimes interesting to see what a title can do and what a thumbnail can do for your videos. Anyways, so we'll get into this in a coming video. I'm going to make so much money on having this. And I was super excited because a dealer came up to me and they said, could you sell me a couple things out of it that I need for restorations? And I said, no, absolutely not. But I can give them to you. So I got a little Ziploc bag and some of these empty compartments had some pieces that they needed. And I just gave them to them. I just said, you know what? You've been so kind to me throughout the years. And of course they had tears in their eyes and they said, how could you be that generous? And I said, because I want to. And I was born, into it. So anyways, so this is going to make me an awful lot of money in restorations. So I show you that as part of the conglomerate part of the video. Now let's get into what, oh, I almost forgot this. Let's do a drive-by. What on God's green earth? Look how massive it is. We're going to talk about this in a video too very, very soon. I brought this on early on in my videos and world class, by the way. Wait till I tell you. This came through a national auction here in Ohio, and we'll talk about this. We'll get into this. I'm sure you're all going absolutely crazy because you already know. You already know. You already know what it is. So I'm sure you do because you've been watching me for a long time. Initially, I think that was sold as costume jewelry. So the story goes. How on earth could you get amethysts and mixed stones into light bulbs? How can you do it? How is it physically possible? Because these are fake light bulbs. They're plastic. And I think, wouldn't it be cool if you put candy in them? I thought that would be cool. Or like, you could put them in your kitchen window and have like spices or salt and pepper. But anyways, these I just purchased. And they just came in the other day and I got very lucky because one of my dealer friends sets up in an area mall. And I went in and I spent $300 I think it was three. Oh wait, no. The total was like $506. And this is part of what I bought. And I was so excited because I've been known to sell these stones like crazy. These are, I guess we could get into this one. And I just want to show you a little sampling. So let's just put these out here. And we're talking about really fantastic stones. So there is blue topaz, there's a few light aquamarine, there's a lot of citrine, there's a lot of amethyst, and there's a few peridot. And you can see that this is completely loaded, by the way. I can't believe how many gemstones can you fit inside of a light bulb. I guess that should be the title of the video. It should be, how many gemstones can you fit in a light bulb? So let's just look at a couple. This is citrine, and really beautiful in proportion. See how that doesn't window at all? When you turn the stone, the windowing sometimes leaves a void, you know, and windowing is very important in a gemstone, and that has basically everything to do with the way the proportion is and the faceting. So you don't want to see a stone that windows. Very much anyway. Look at that one. Very elongated, but look how it's filled with those electric facets that make that run the length of the stone. That one could be an aqua, but it also could be pale blue topaz. So we're going to test quite a few of these because when you get into that light color, it's sometimes very difficult, even for I, to be able to tell you after 30 years what exactly it is. That one's citrine. We'll just take a look. And I hope you're enjoying the video today because it's such a joy to be able to come on and do what I want. And it's a joy to come on and say what I want. So look at this one. Trapezoid. I think that's more of a, isn't that a trapezoid shape? I think it is. And the color of this, very pale purple for an amethyst. But look at the way the light shoots through that. Right there. There's the money shot. Absolutely. And in a simple mounting, that would be great. So let's see if we have, oh, there is another one. This is a different one. Oh, look, I wonder if I could mount those together. See, here goes my designer brain again. Look, I moved that one out of the way. I say, get out of the way. I've got a moment here. Yeah, I could face these like this. And then I could have put a center stone here, or almost a center bar dividing them, or almost like a network of wires, like a zigzag, that kind of mimics this shape as well. And then either bezel set or prong set those. I would prefer that as a ring. That's just me, you know, as a designer. And I'm entitled to do with it as I please. I always tell people, you know, everyone has such great ideas. And then I said, and so do I. And that's what I want to make with them. I want to put these into mountings. And Jeremy has been so excited to get me back into the studio. It's been one of his main goals. He said, you're happiest when you're creating. And I think that's why a lot of times, too, I don't choose the right human words because I've told my story through my art. And again, I went to school and we had critiques. So we were always critical of others' works, not of the people that created them, but we were critical of that. And I think that's why sometimes I get critical of YouTube content. That's another reason why you won't see me in chats right now. So, oh, look at this one. And look at that line of citrine going through that. Hold on, let me show this on. Look at that line of citrine jolting right through that amethyst. And look at the asymmetry of the cut. But again, it stays without a window. Look at that line of citrine. Do you see it? Yeah, you see that little faint line or veil. There it is. That veil of citrine. I should show that on white, but it's not working. Anyways, a handful of goodness. And then the small stones, I have people that love to buy the smaller parcels of smaller stones because they love to buy the more commercial mountings that calibrated cut oval would fit down into. Look at that for a citrine. Someone else would just overlook it and go, oh, there's hundreds of thousands of those in the world. Yeah, you bet you there are, but that one's just very cool. And look at this one for another citrine. So there we go. We finally, after 20 some minutes, we made it into what the video's about. Handfuls of gemstones that I'm going to be able to, I'm sure you guys want to see the rest of this bottle though. Hold on. I'm going to pause. I'll put this in a container and then we'll dump this out. So I'm going to leave this right here for transparency. All right, we'll leave that right there. I'll be right back. So I couldn't find a ball, so I had to get a seashell. Look how cool they look. And a seashell. So now I have a shell filled with little stones. And then, of course, before I turned record on, I knocked it over in the box. Anyways, this is where we left off. And I just want to show you, look how much more is in this bottle. So let's just spill them out, I guess. Oh, I could put them in a crystal tray. Hold on, maybe they would work better in this little crystal. Oh, these videos. Oh no, I just got them all over. Sometimes these videos, I probably should, what do they say, edit them, but I don't. Here, let's go in on these. Let's do a little look-see. See, we got a lot of smaller stones in this one, but stay tuned, because the smaller ones don't strike. Oh, wait, this does strike a chord with me. Wait a minute. For a peridot, I'm in. Wait a minute. Let's see. Oh, yeah. All right, I'm in on that one. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to test this and make sure, but I'm in on that. Yeah, that's a yes for me to set. And then the citrine, yeah, another one of those kind of guitar pick shape citrines. Boy, it won't focus. It wants to focus on the jar full. All right, camera wants to focus on that. So guess what we're gonna show? We're going to show what the camera wants to focus on. We're not going to force anything to happen today. I said to one of my friends last week, I said, you know what was wrong with my YouTube? Well, I knew many things that was wrong with my YouTube because, again, a critical eye. I've always been thinking about how to do things different or better or kinder. And I guess what? I said to myself, I was forcing things to happen that I wasn't invested in. And now that I have the reins back, and my foot is on the gas, I'm good. Because I don't like sharing the steering wheel. I just don't like doing it. It's a no for this guy. I've often said that about myself in life. And that's okay. That's okay. Some people don't need a manager. And I don't either. This is really cool. This is super, super cool. So yeah. Let's make sure that... Ooh, I like this one. Because that's... Oh, I do like this one a lot. That might be aqua too, because I see some inclusions in there that say aqua to me. It's slightly out of oval. So yeah, that could be aqua. I'm going to check this one for sure. That has that almost bluish green tint other than that electric blue. See the difference there between what I would know to be a blue topaz as I struggle. Now look, I'm using both hands and not holding the dish. So talk about courage. Yeah, you can see the difference here. Yeah, we're gonna look at those two. We'll do a comparison on those as well. But there you go for those. A beautiful dish. Let me get these back into the bottle, or the light bulb, I should say, because it is a light bulb. Let me get, I like these. I don't know where she got these, but I like these. I'm gonna get all these stones back into this, and I'll be right back. And before I got too far putting all these back, you should see some of the powerful small stones that was in this bottle. So many of them are already back in there. The tinies always kind of filter in towards the center. But you should see some of the tiny stones and the quality of some of them. These are just a few that I left in here. There was one citrine that I saw that I loved because the color zoning was so obvious to me. I think it's this one. It might not be this one, but it might be. There's a lot of distinct color zoning inside one of these. Maybe it's not. Oh, I think it's this one. Yeah, I think it's this one that has that clear color zone towards the tip. You can kind of see where that goes clear. See where there's got that distinct color zone inside of that? You can see it better on the back. There we go. See that lightness towards the tip? That's the color zoning inside of a citrine. And there was one more that was really distinct, and I can't find it now. But look at all these tiny little baby stones. Look at that for restorations for me. And I have such, I don't know. I'm going to do this, and I'll just turn it for all of you. I should set this to music, like a little carousel. There's another one with the zoning. I think that's the one that I went nuts about. There was one in here that was so distinct. No, it's the same one as earlier. Maybe I was imagining things. Thank you all so much for staying with me. I'm going to try and make this in 30 minutes, but it's not going to work. Let me ditch these back in here. And I guess I would say I'd like to thank each and every one of you again for sharing me out, because I saw my analytics yesterday. I check them once a week now because is that a little diamond? That's probably a little diamond. Yeah, that probably is. Boy, the feedback on that, the hello, yeah, that's gotta be, we'll see. That could be a little diamond. I'm gonna have to check that one. The faceting on it is wonderful. And you would not believe how many small diamonds I've been finding in some of my gemstone parcels. Boy, these are so small. They're stuck in my hands. I don't want to lose any of these, though. So thank you for your patience as I continue to struggle. I should have paused the video. Here's another one that went flying out of the box. And let's see how we could get all these back in here without... You know what I could do is I could get that piece of paper that I just had off camera, but then people will know that I had a secret note for a secret guest I'm going to have on in not too many weeks, because, boy, our schedules just were not lining up. But I'm going to hop on YouTube whenever I want. Let me move this, and then, oh, I got this little sterling seashell out of my collection. And it's solid sterling silver. This is the small version. I think I have 4 of these, but I love these for displays of pearl necklaces when I would do my shows. And I had little bowls like this too, cut crystal bowls that were really beautiful, that were early. Look at that detail. Like, I bought that at a yard sale for like 50 cents or $1. And I loved that concentric carving on there. And then this kind of radiating. It just, I don't know, they're classy. And then I'd put rings or brooches in here for my displays. So I was always very thoughtful of my display elements. Let's do this. And we'll, oh no, I got another loose stone out. Here, we'll have to put that there. And then, let's go with the amethyst, because this was the bottle that I went crazy for. And there might be a large aquamarine. It might be blue topaz. I have not opened this. Boy, they do not want to come out of there. And these are very large amethyst, by the way. Extremely well cut. And for anyone that likes noises and ASMR, besides my stomach growling, did you guys hear my stomach growling? Let's see here. It was. Oh, and then someone said the other day again about, can you turn the heat off in your house? Because it was making a noise in the background. And I said, sure, let me freeze to death. No problem. Just for one viewer, no problem. It's called sarcasm. All right, let's do this. And let's put this stone back in this one. Oh, obsessive compulsive, anyone? All right. Now, this might be aqua, because it just might be. There's something here of that almost yellowy green overtone, and the way this stone is faceted, it's either aqua or blue topaz, sky blue topaz. There is a little bit of abrasion on that, but I can get that remedied by one of my stone cutting friends here. So I'm going to double check this, but look at the faceting on that. Can you imagine that as a beautiful, and I mean absolutely wonderful ring? That would just be outstanding. That would just be incredible. So yeah, I would wear it next to my other one. My pale pink baby. And then, well, I shouldn't say pale, I should say vivid pink. Look at that one. Yeah, cushion cut and fantastic faceting. That's definitely in either quartz crystal or, boy, sure looks like a pale, that might be kunzite morganite or a pale amethyst, because it sure does have a pink hue to it. So double check this one. Natural gemstone for sure. Definitely not glass or synthetic on that one. I love that cushion cut. Always. I've always been a fan of it for rings. I don't know. It's very graceful. It's very timeless. And I love that one. And then tons of amethyst. I mean, and they're great big. So let's just lay them out for you. And I'll just grab random ones. And I'm sure you're going to want to see every single one of them. But I think there's probably, in my guess, maybe there's... I'm going to guess there's... Whoa! Holy cow! Look at that, baby. How deep that goes. Holy mother. Look at that. Yeah, and the color of it, and that color saturation. Look at that big chunky Easter egg of amethyst. And all these are genuine amethyst. Look at these. Start to see that kind of almost blue tint to them as well. Yep. Now, we want to see darker. The darker the better. But these are medium hue for sure. Some of them lean a little darker. There is some color zoning in some of them, but look at that pink overcast of that one. I've always been seduced by amethyst. It's been one of my favorites. Look at that one. Yeah, anytime you can kind of see that, look at the way the light goes through this one as we tip it back and forth. And always look at your gemstones holding them up on white to see how much color they actually still have. You can see that dark color zone at the base of that one shooting through the rest of the stone. So once that's mounted as a pendant or a ring, I say yep to all of those. And let's just do a quick, let's just kind of get in here and see. Well, I mean, you can tell very large stones, and then some are fancy cut as well. So, ooh, this one. I just got very lucky. That's all I'll say. I happened to go in, and she had just restocked, and anyone could have picked these up in these two different, light bulbs filled. And I wasn't sure what was in them. Look at that one. For almost a demi-lune cut. Yeah, that's pretty incredible. Wish there was two of those. There's probably, and more of these. I love all of these cuts. There's not anything in here that I wouldn't use in my own work. Ooh, this one. Yeah, small but mighty. There you go. Carat weight on these, I would say on the largest one, let's see, where would the largest one be? I want to say, excluding these two, because these are gigantic. The largest one looks like it would be this one or this one. I would say these are 15 carats plus. 15 to 16 carats, and that one. And then it goes down from there. Maybe like 12 on this one. I'm guessing here 12 to 14, probably 12. And then this one, it's wider, but it's more shallow. You can see the cut on these. And then when you do side by side, you can see that this one on the right is more shallow than that one. So it's got more carat weight behind it on this one. Color saturation is great. Okay, so needless to say, the thumbnail was right. These two light bulbs are filled with a lot of money, and I am so grateful to her to allow me to buy these with my other items as well. I did buy quite a few. Let's put these in this tray, and let me see if I can stop screaming for a change. So, oh, there's that one. And let's go in here and let's take another round. Let's take out the bigger ones, because those are the ones that are easier for me to set. Wow, look at how deep that one goes. That would almost be cool to mount it upside down. And maybe, just maybe, I would mount that upside down. I don't know. Maybe I won't. Depends on my mood. Love it, love it, love it. Let's see, color zoning in this one. You can see the zone running through this one, that color zone that runs through this. Color zoning in the stone says, hello, I'm genuine amethyst. Take me home and put me in jewelry. I do like these fancy shapes as well. Let me put these down. Oh, there's so many big ones. There's so many big ones in here. Let's see this one. All right, what is this? I guess we have a citrine. Oh, look, I'm out of the camera. I wasn't even paying attention to the feed. That's pretty awesome. We'll leave that out. I was looking for the fancy shaped ones to show you that I got all excited about. That would be awesome for a contemporary design. Ooh, that one just flew out of there at me. This one's like, hey, wait, don't leave me out of the fun. I won't. Listen to me fumbling around. Sounds like a cat. It sounds like a cat in a litter box. If you filled your litter box with amethyst. Let's see. Oh, we have to do that one. All right, there we go. We're going to end on the fancy cuts. Wow, for the shapes, and look at the color, how the color is so vibrant in all of these. And the variation between this almost raspberry color into a pale lavender. Oh, this one, that's a forever. Yeah, that's a forever keep, meaning I don't want to let that one go. Yeah, that one speaks to me of all of them. Look at that one. And each one is going to speak to someone differently. Can you imagine that in an asymmetrical modern silver mounting? Like as a pendant, a drop pendant. Boy, I need to start making some more jewelry. This is a reminder from the universe to not be in chats, to not do very many live feeds. And if I'm going to do a live feed, it's going to be from my studio of me creating, or interviews, or if I go somewhere special. So, but also not forgetting where I came from, and also keeping my voice honest and real. And I appreciate all of your support in me keeping my channel just the way it is. I really do. Let's look at these. I want to dump these all out for some reason. I don't know why. There we go. We'll leave those in. Do a quick look at those. And I apologize for the busy background, but that's what you get when I fill the light box. And look how royal these get. So the smaller the stones get, usually the darker they get, because they could cut more precision from the darker parts of the crystal or the rough. Look at this one for that generous pear shape. Almost really, you know, that chubby bottom and that tiny little tip. They were almost going for a heart shape. And then they didn't put that little cleft in the top, but look at that. For oh, look how deep that one goes. Another fantasy cut. Yeah, so this is, I would say there's got to be at least now, maybe there is almost 100 amethyst stones. And for what I paid, I couldn't be happier. So thank you for joining in. I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry I went over just a little bit today. I wasn't supposed to, because I do have 8 million things to get done. So there we go. We'll end the video, and I'll have to clean up all this. We'll keep these 3 separate and put them into other mountings. So there you have it. Amethyst inside of a light bulb and other gemstones inside of a light bulb. So, all right, it's time to go. Thank you again so much. I do want to say, thank you so much to all that have subscribed. And if you could just do me a favor, almost 47% of my, quote, usual viewers are not subscribed. If you could find a way, to do it for me, I would so appreciate it. Please hit the subscribe. Share me out to your friends. I want to continue to grow the channel over the next several months. Thank you so much for your time. I love you because I do.